In the land of Sparta, every newborn baby undergoes an examination by the elders. Babies who appear dim-witted, like the ones emitting a green glow, are compassionately eliminated by the elders. Ordinary individuals are given to noble couples for adoption. Only babies who are born with full facial beards and possess 8-pack abs are considered perfect Spartan individuals. Quality inspectors stamp a qualified label on their buttocks. Purebred Spartans, once they grow up, are sent to the Antarctic for wilderness survival training. In this freezing land with scarce resources, they have to rely on wild bread when hungry and be constantly vigilant against attacks from exotic creatures. For example, penguins with glowing red eyes have formidable combat abilities. A single flying kick successfully brings down Leonidas. To defeat the penguin, Leonidas must rely on a wild steel fork.
We can work it out! I'll suck your dick!
After a period of rigorous training, Leonidas returns to his homeland and becomes the king of Sparta. He also receives the most beautiful woman in Sparta. Soon, his wife becomes pregnant and gives birth prematurely after 9 months, bearing a child for him. Due to his own experience of being rained on as a child, he refuses to help his son hold an umbrella. Leonidas subjects his son to the same hardships he endured in his childhood, including physical beatings and even introducing him to hot weapons. Not long after, an envoy from Persia arrives for negotiations. Leonidas is very enthusiastic and not only shakes hands but also pulls the envoy closer to give him a kiss. Leaving the envoy bewildered, Leonidas explains that this is a unique Spartan way of greeting for men, a double palm strike for women, and a hot kiss for men. The envoy looks around and notices that these Spartan men indeed have an unconventional style. Then, the two men hold hands and begin the negotiations. The envoy urges Leonidas to surrender, warning that the Persian Empire will come and conquer them. Men will be sent to the pyramids to do brickwork, and women will be sent to Nike factories to make shoes. Leonidas firmly rejects and roars in anger. Sparta kicks the envoy into the well of death to gain an advantage. To seize the initiative, Leonidas decides to launch a war against the Persian Empire, originally planning to gather 300 warriors. Only 10 actually show up. However, each one is strong, muscular, and possesses 8-pack abs. For those who lack the abs, they are drawn on with a pencil. With everything ready, the Spartan warriors line up in 2 columns, well trained and ready to march towards the battlefield.
Move out! Oh, no, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, but I know I'll stay.
They bounced and jumped their way to the Hot Springs Pass, where the Spartans and the Persian army engaged in a fierce battle. The treacherous and narrow terrain at this location indeed provided the Spartans with a significant advantage. Soon, the Persian army arrived. The leader of the Persian army attempted to persuade Leonidas to surrender, threatening him with a whip. However, one Spartan warrior was not pleased with his words and, with his massive body, charged out of the crowd and initiated the attack. However, his excessive force caused him to collide with a wall and lose consciousness. Upon seeing this, Leonidas immediately rallied the Spartans to launch an assault on the Persian army, demonstrating their signature stomping dance moves. Wow, you guys have really escalated things, haven't you? The Persians, not to be outdone, responded with their own impressive ethnic dance. The two sides engaged in a dance-off, showcasing their skills and engaging in intense combat.
Damn is the words that come out their mouth. She looked good, always without a doubt. As for you, pretty well, that was the plan. They were ready for this. He got the game.
Eventually, the Persians grew exhausted and were forced to retreat, being thrown into the sea by the Spartans. However, the Persian king, unwilling to accept defeat, personally led a 1,000,000-strong army to exact revenge on these unclothed ruffians. Leonidas felt a great sense of fear as they faced such a vast enemy force, seemingly impossible to counter. Meanwhile, a traitor emerged within the Spartan stronghold, swaying the masses and willingly surrendering. To protect the stronghold, Queen Margot of Sparta transformed into a black spider and engaged in a fierce battle with the traitor. However, the traitor had the ability to turn into sand, effortlessly recovering from any form of attack. Faced with this situation, Margot had no choice but to unleash her secret weapon, the vacuum cleaner. barely managing to defeat the traitor. The Spartans, true warriors at heart, were undeterred even in the face of millions of enemy troops. They broke through the encirclement and launched a counterattack. The Persians, seeing this, quickly dispatched their ghostwriters, while the Spartans unveiled their fire extinguishers. Countering the attack, Leonidas, with a slight advantage, activated the Grand Theft Auto mode. Defeating a Persian soldier and obtaining 2 machine guns, he used these machine guns to eliminate all the Persians. Upon witnessing this, the Persian king fled, with the Spartans in hot pursuit. In his panic, the king stumbled over a mysterious box, which turned out to be a Decepticon Energon cube. It was a stroke of luck. The king quickly took the Energon cube and transformed into a giant robot named Overlord, engaging in an ultimate duel with the Spartans. But to everyone's surprise, due to a short circuit in the power cable, Overlord suddenly malfunctioned and crashed onto all the Spartan warriors. And so, both sides suffered defeat and received their packed lunches, retiring from the battlefield. Alright, it seems the playful spoof is over. See you next time.